If you bought chocolate, coffee, or orange juice this week, you might have already noticed something alarming. But what's coming next will shock you even more. In the next 10 minutes, I'll reveal the 7 grocery staples that are about to see massive price increases, some potentially doubling in cost, and explain exactly why this is happening so you can prepare your budget and make smarter shopping decisions before it's too late. Welcome to Financial Area, where we break down the economic forces affecting your wallet. If this kind of financial insight helps you save money and make better decisions, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that protects your finances. Let's start with something that's going to hurt chocolate lovers everywhere. Right now, as I'm speaking, cocoa prices have absolutely exploded past $10,000 per ton in New York, completely shattering every historical record we've ever seen. The International Cocoa Organization is warning us about a deficit exceeding 460,000 tons for this harvest season. To put that in perspective, that's not just a minor shortage, that's a catastrophic supply crisis. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. West Africa supplies over 70% of the world's cocoa, and it's facing a perfect storm of disasters. In Côte d'Ivoire, which is the global leader in cocoa production, there's a devastating virus called cocoa swollen shoot that's literally killing cocoa trees and wiping out up to 30% of some farms. This virus is spreading so rapidly that farmers have almost no way to stop it. Meanwhile, Ghana, another cocoa powerhouse, has been hammered by relentless rainfall. Now you might think rain is good for crops, but for cocoa, it's actually a disaster. The excessive rain is ruining harvest during the critical fermentation stage, making the beans completely unusable for chocolate production. But here's the kicker. Cocoa trees take 5 years to mature, so even if farmers planted new trees today, we wouldn't see any relief until 2029. Inventories in Europe and the US are at razor-thin levels. We're talking less than 3 months' supply. Major chocolate producers are already raising prices, making their bars smaller, and even substituting cocoa with cheaper ingredients like carob or vegetable fats. Even Switzerland, where chocolate is practically a national treasure, has factories scaling back production because of soaring ingredient and energy costs. Hedge funds are betting on even higher prices, making cocoa one of the most volatile commodities on the entire market. What this means for you is not just more expensive chocolate bars, but smaller sizes and completely different flavors, as companies desperately try to stretch their limited supplies. Now let's talk about your morning routine. That cup of coffee you rely on to start your day is about to become significantly more expensive, and here's why. Brazil, which produces the most Arabica beans used in premium coffees, saw exports drop by 26% in March compared to last year. The forecasts for their next harvest are absolutely terrible. They're expecting the weakest yields in 3 years. At the same time, Vietnam, which leads the world in Robusta beans used for instant coffee and cheaper blends, is dealing with severe drought linked to the Super El Niño weather pattern. This year's harvest is projected to be down by 1.5 million bags. That's a massive loss for a country that supplies nearly half the world's Robusta coffee. With both major producers in serious trouble, global coffee supply is tightening dramatically. Over the past year, coffee prices have jumped 80%. That's the sharpest spike we've seen since the 1970s. Inventories of Arabica beans are at their lowest point in 22 years, with less than 2 weeks' worth of global demand sitting in warehouses. You're already seeing this impact in supermarkets with higher prices for cold brew, instant coffee, canned lattes, and espresso capsules. Cafes are warning that we could see $12 cups of coffee by the end of this year in some countries. For millions of people, coffee is shifting from a daily staple to an actual luxury item. Here's something that might surprise you. Orange juice is quietly becoming one of the most expensive beverages you can buy. The crisis is most severe in Florida, which used to be the world's orange juice capital. Since 2005, Florida's orange production has absolutely collapsed by 90%. The main culprit is a plant disease called citrus greening, which is spread by a tiny insect called the Asian citrus psyllid. This disease has no cure, and it's merciless. It makes the fruit small and bitter before eventually killing the entire tree. Growers have tried everything, cutting down infected trees, experimenting with genetically resistant varieties, spending millions on research. But the disease just keeps spreading. Recent hurricanes have made everything worse, stripping flowers from trees during critical growth stages and causing widespread crop loss. With Florida's harvests shrinking every year, juice companies are increasingly dependent on imports from Brazil and Mexico. But guess what? These countries are facing their own challenges, including the spread of the same citrus greening disease and unpredictable climate patterns. International trade tensions are adding fuel to this fire. Canada, which is a major buyer of U.S. orange juice concentrate, is about to impose tariffs on American imports, which will drive prices even higher. The impact goes way beyond just orange juice. Concentrate is used in fruit blends, sodas, candies, and baked goods, so a wide range of products will see price hikes or recipe changes. Planting new orange trees takes years before they bear fruit, and with no cure for citrus greening and many farmers leaving the industry entirely, the supply chain remains under constant strain. Orange juice prices in the U.S. have nearly doubled since 2020, and analysts are expecting another sharp increase very soon. Now let's talk about an ingredient you probably don't think about, but it's in almost everything you eat. Palm oil is found in cooking oils, margarine, instant noodles, cookies, crackers, frozen meals, and even beauty products. Its low cost and versatility make it absolutely essential for manufacturers worldwide. But Indonesia, which is the world's top exporter, just made a move that's sending shockwaves through the entire global market. In May, they raised their export tax on crude palm oil by 10%, immediately increasing costs for every single buyer around the world. At the same time, they're diverting over 1 million tons of palm oil away from the food supply to fuel their national biodiesel program. That's creating a massive supply gap. Malaysia, the Southeast's largest supplier, can't fill this gap because they're dealing with their own production constraints and challenges. Other countries like Nigeria are already bracing for price hikes of up to 15%. The result is a global supply shock. Demand remains sky high, but supply just got much tighter. Here's the tricky part. Palm oil is often just labeled as vegetable oil on ingredient lists, so price increases are going to affect a vast array of products that you might not even realize contain it. Alternatives like sunflower or soybean oil are either more expensive or facing their own supply issues, leaving manufacturers with little choice but to pass these costs directly on to consumers or shrink their product sizes. Speaking of sunflower oil, this is another ingredient that's about to hit your wallet hard. Sunflower oil is prized for its neutral taste and affordability, making it a staple in both home cooking and food manufacturing. But severe droughts in the Balkans and planting delays in Ukraine, one of the world's largest exporters, are creating serious supply problems. Bulgaria, which is a top European producer, is experiencing its worst harvest in 15 years. Their output has dropped to just 1.45 million tons, and this shortfall is already driving up prices. Sunflower oil at Turkish ports reached $1,190 per ton in April. That's a significant jump from last year. India, which is a major importer, is paying even higher prices, and this is pushing smaller buyers completely out of the market. Analysts are warning that sunflower oil could soon double in price, right alongside cocoa and coffee. The effects go way beyond just bottles of oil sitting on grocery store shelves. Sunflower oil is used in potato chips, salad dressings, canned goods, sauces, spreads, frozen meals, and even baby food. Manufacturers are facing impossible choices: raise prices, reduce package sizes, or completely alter their recipes. Many are going to do all three, leading to what economists call shrinkflation, where you pay more money for less product. Substituting other oils isn't always possible because sunflower oil has unique properties that make it really hard to replace without affecting taste or product stability. With shipping costs, insurance fees, and labor shortages adding even more pressure, the final price you pay reflects much more than just the cost of the crop itself. Now let's talk about something that hits close to home for families everywhere: eggs. Egg prices have always gone up and down, but what we're seeing now is completely unprecedented. The main culprit is a global outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, bird flu, which has led to the culling of over 166 million birds worldwide, including millions of egg-laying hens. In the U.S., the average price for a dozen eggs hit $6.23 in March, completely surpassing all previous records. If this outbreak continues at its current pace, prices could rise another 55% by the end of this year. But here's something that might make you angry. Despite a slight drop in wholesale egg prices recently, consumers aren't seeing any relief at the checkout counter. That's because just 5 companies control about 75% of U.S. egg production, giving them enormous power to set prices however they want. With such limited competition, these producers can keep prices high even when their own costs are falling. This problem is global. In the European Union, a single bird flu case in Brazil led to a complete pause in chicken imports, increasing demand for already strained domestic supplies. Feed costs and energy costs are also rising, making egg production more expensive even without disease outbreaks. Eggs, which used to be one of the most budget-friendly proteins available, are becoming a premium item. The impact is being felt by families, schools, hospitals, and restaurants, basically everyone who relies on eggs as a staple ingredient. Finally, let's talk about the foundation of the global food system, wheat. Wheat is in bread, pasta, noodles, cereals, and countless other products we eat every day. But the stability of this essential crop is under serious threat from multiple directions simultaneously. The Black Sea region, which is a major hub for grain exports, has seen trade disrupted by ongoing conflict. A recent strike on the port of Odessa damaged a wheat shipment, raising insurance costs and making the entire trade route much riskier. Buyers are now turning to more expensive suppliers, which is driving up prices across the board. Russia, one of the world's top wheat exporters, is facing its worst winter wheat crop on record, with over a third of planted areas rated as poor or very poor condition. In the U.S., Kansas wheat farmers are struggling with terrible growing conditions, pushing futures prices to their highest levels in months. Hedge funds, which were once betting on falling wheat prices, are now completely reversing course and betting on higher prices, fueling even more price spikes. China has unexpectedly started buying massive quantities of wheat from Canada and Australia, signaling serious concerns about long-term supply and pushing smaller buyers completely out of the market. The result is higher prices for anything and everything containing flour, bread, pasta, tortillas, pastries, crackers, and more. Wheat might not grab headlines like coffee or chocolate, but when its price rises, the impact is absolutely widespread and deeply felt by everyone. Here's what ties all of these stories together: the interconnectedness of our global food system. Crop failures in one region create ripple effects across entire continents. Disease outbreaks, extreme weather events, and policy shifts in key exporting countries send shock waves through supply chains, affecting prices worldwide. Many of the factors driving today's price hikes are long-term problems that are incredibly difficult to reverse. Diseases like citrus greening and bird flu don't have quick cures. Climate change is making extreme weather events more common and more severe, constantly disrupting harvests and planting schedules. Geopolitical tensions and changing trade policies add even more uncertainty to an already fragile system. For you as a shopper, the message is crystal clear. Expect to pay significantly more for chocolate, orange juice, coffee, eggs, bread, and any products containing palm oil or sunflower oil. In many cases, you'll also see smaller package sizes or completely different recipes as manufacturers desperately try to manage their rising costs. While some of these price increases might eventually ease, many of the underlying issues, disease, climate change, and market concentration, are here to stay. The era of cheap, abundant groceries might be coming to an end, replaced by a new normal of higher prices and much greater volatility. You can start adapting right now by staying informed about these trends, actively seeking out alternatives when possible, and paying close attention to changing package sizes and ingredient lists. Supporting local producers when you can, reducing food waste, and diversifying your diet can also help reduce the impact of these rising prices on your household budget. And the coming months are going to test the resilience of both consumers and the entire food industry. As the price of everyday staples climbs higher and higher, understanding these forces can help you make better financial decisions and plan your grocery budget more effectively. If this video helped you understand what's really happening to grocery prices and how to prepare for what's coming, hit that like button and subscribe to Financial Area for more content that protects your wallet from economic uncertainty. What grocery price increase has hit your budget the hardest? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.